Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your host, Paul Gaither. This is obviously ESPN NFL 2K5. It doesn't just have to be 2K5. It can be any of these retro sports games of Madden or anything. But this has been my current kick, so this is what we're going to make this video on. And I apologize that we're going to most likely repeat some ideas I've made in other videos, but that's just the fact of the matter. Whenever you coach defense, you play defense, whatever, the ideas are going to come back again and again. And I know you probably don't want to sit here and stare at the menu, but I got to talk you through some things. And some of it is just knowing your personnel and IDing what you want in your personnel. So what I'm going to talk about is based on my personal preference, growing up, learning football, coaching it, all of that. So I'm not saying my way is the only way. My way is the right way and everything else is wrong and different. It's no. But I got my way. I'm going to teach my way. And you pull whatever ideas you like, whether you agree, disagree, but you gotta have a philosophy, okay? And so one of the things that is important here is to know your personnel. I know it's a crazy idea, right? But know your personnel and know what you want to accomplish within your scheme as well. So when I go here, we look at Isaac Sopoaga, and he's got 99 strength, and he's got 70 run coverage. We're going to talk about run defense as a major factor. And it's well, what about on a passing play? You got to be able to account for the run, all the time. Okay? So, know your personnel. This is going to be our nose tackle, and it doesn't have to be heads up in the zero technique nose tackle, but he's going to be the guy trying to draw double teams against the guard in the center. That's the main goal here. And so, that 99 strength, you look at Stewart, who I have backing him up, 97 strength. Okay? Anthony Adams, 81, 67 for Cooper. Brown, 63. Bryant Young, 67, I think is disrespectful, but, we got these two guys, 99 and 97 strength. It's not just all these defensive linemen have this high strength. It's this is our roster. Maybe your roster has it, maybe they don't, whenever you're going to draft players, whatever, but I'm happy with my guys. And that's getting moved off the ball. And then the run coverage. Sopoaga, he's got 70 run coverage, 60 run coverage, 62 run coverage, 70 run coverage from Cooper, and there's a reason why we have Cooper in the nickel and the dime defense, because we also want him as a pass rusher. And then 81 run coverage from Bryant Young. So we've got a couple guys here, especially that can rotate with fatigue. And if there's an injury, God forbid, we've got ourselves a solid backup that can play. That is just a complete anchor at defensive tackle. And Soap literally played nose and whenever the 49ers switched over to a 3-4 defense. He played a little left end, and he played a bit of nose tackle in there. So that's a thing as well. Knowing your personnel, knowing who's going to be in what position, because I believe in one of the rosters they have it inverted. And they have Soap as the left defensive tackle and Bryant Young as the right defensive tackle. And no, that ain't my thing. Now, a lot of times Carter played right defensive end. I think that's pretty much what he played. And he played off-ball linebacker in the 3-4 defense. I believe he played with Washington as an off-ball linebacker. And then I think when he went to New England, he went back to on-ball. But I have him at left defensive end for a specific reason. We'll get there in a second. We look at Engelberger here, and you could argue that Engelberger shouldn't even be starting on this defense. It should be Whitting no matter what. But the thing is, as you can already see the stats with your own eyes, I don't need to read them to you, is I like having Engelberger as my 4-3 and my 46 Bear defensive end, and then having Whitting as my nickel and dime defensive end. And we can again look at this. The strength 67, Whitting is stronger at 75. The run coverage is 81 for Engelberger and 77 for Whitting, so not as high. But pass rush is 79 for Whitting and 69 for Engelberger. So especially in those dime and nickel situations, I definitely want Whitting as my pass rusher. So in real life, one of the things that also happens is defensive linemen rotate to keep them fresh and just to constantly put pressure on the offense, constantly have fresh legs out there, not guys worn down, so that they're just constantly attacking the quarterback and everything. So getting that rotation to me is important. Now, no disrespect to this player right here. It's just video game ratings, but not good video game ratings, right? Run coverage is sub 70, strength is sub 70, tackle is sub 70. Everything is just backup. Third string, really. And that's just the way it is. I would rather have Engelberger, Whitting, and Carter, and if this guy doesn't see the field, the better. And it's like, again, no disrespect for the real man. It's just video game ratings. But definitely the last on the depth chart and someone I would be looking to replace. Someone that has at least something in their advantage. So, yeah, Engelberger in the 4-3 defense and all of that. And Carter, as we said, I want him at left end, especially because the way we're going to be playing defense here. And I'll be showing you that. Pass rush 92, let's go! Run coverage 81. Strength is 59, so it's not the strongest position there. And coverage is 67. You can drop him back like a linebacker into coverage, which is exactly what he does when he ended up playing 3-4 later in the future. So you can do all kinds of crazy fun stuff there with Carter on that team. And we're not even going to worry about the linebackers so much, though there's also a reason why I pick... how do I want to say this? If I kick here, yeah, I usually like to have like this. And then Peterson like this as the right, yeah. And then I thought I already had this saved. Maybe I'm just tripping here. Because I don't think I had that in the other game. And there is a reason for that as well. And let's have Winborn here. And we're going to talk about coverage is 74, like pass coverage 65, 66. Coverage 77, all of that. Coverage here is 69, right? Winborn's coverage is here, but 79 run coverage. And then we can also have Winborn in for nickel situations. And Peterson is like the top dog at the 77 coverage. So let's also make sure that we go to substitutions and we kick over to nickel. And yeah, basically Peterson is a starter with something higher. And Derek Smith is here. And in dime, we're here. Yeah. Okay. This is good. So, the next thing, let's just talking about ratings and who's doing what and why. So, knowing the core of the defense in that regard. What we're going to do is, you see how it's pictured? We're going to use our right thumbstick to send our defensive line to the right. We're going to pull the left trigger. And we're going to use the right thumbstick, press left, to send the linebackers to the left. There's a reason for that. We're going to go to a regular base defense. And because we're kicking the linebackers to the left, we want our strong safety, even here, strong last three, we want our strong safety in the flat zone to the right of that, to the right of our linebackers. So basically, we're going to be calling an over front for our defensive line. So we're just going to call, if they have a basic I formation, do they have an I formation? They do. And we're going to call a basic strong toss. So we're going to go clickety-click. And there we go. 0-yard run. Why is it wanting to spin? I don't know. I do not know. And we hardly got any time at the line of scrimmage to actually do any of the things that we wanted to do. But now you get to see it lined up in action mostly. Whenever the 49ers went to a 3-4 defense, this is what Bryant Young ended up playing. And there's like a left defensive end, and then having a linebacker over him, and then two linebackers over the top, and then a linebacker here. You've got your nose tackle and your other defensive end. So you've got your right end, your nose tackle, your left end, your left outside linebacker, your two middles, and your right outside linebacker. Even though we're in a 4-3, functionally that's where they're positioned, right? Makes sense? I hope it makes sense. So that's also why if he's like the coverage guy and he can do everything. When it comes to strength, we saw he was the weakest and had, the weakest of the defensive ends here, because even Whitting was even stronger. So he's in the middle, like Engelberger's in the middle of strength, and you see he's between the tackle and the guard. Like he's going to eat blocks inside more often with having linebackers flowing around, and Carter just isn't. Like, he's going to be going up against tight ends in terms of strength, right? Not tackles. Or, like, he's going to have tackles, but tight ends and not necessarily guard centers and things like that. Whereas Engelberger may face center guard action, like on pulls or whatever. He's going to face stronger interior line play. So that's also, again, we have, our strength up here, right? So the next thing, as I said, we're moving the linebackers off. This is why I made the switch, so that Ulbrich is the off-ball linebacker, and Peterson can be as well. It's fine. There's no problem with having Peterson as my off-ball linebacker. But Ulbrich is someone who played middle linebacker for the Niners, and really it would actually be Derek Smith here in a lot of cases, and Ulbrich right here. I can't really make that change, but they're still both my off-ball linebackers. And so I've got my outside linebacker here, the weak side linebacker. He can flow in terms of the defense, like going strong, is if we get this edge, and we also have the help here. That's also why we have the safety coordinated with us. We early knew that we were going to have the tight end because we called the play. In real life, you're not going to know exactly what it is. But we are going to basically line up over the tight end like that, and we've got help over here. So as it's run and as it's a toss, it's like he's already not dropping back to the hole. So even though they're too high, that's another thing. I'm sorry if I just sound like I'm rambling and off target, off task all the time. Middle of the field is open. Safeties are split, but it actually rotates into a 3 shell. He naturally goes to the deep middle because it's 3 strong like this. So we show middle of the field open and we rotate. Okay, so we end up covering the middle of the field, and that kind of messes with the quarterback's vision. They think that they're going to throw a post over the middle or whatever, and then suddenly we rotate, and we've got a deep safety here. But also, since he's not the one pulling back into the deep middle hole in the zone, that basically means here that he's able to help and run support off the edge. So the running back hasn't even got to the line of scrimmage yet, and we're basically meeting him here at the line of scrimmage. We get a double team tackle, and they have absolutely no gain. So we know the fact that we've got the safety help front side, so we put our guys here, setting edges, whatever. We're just setting, not getting too much movement. As a user, we're defensive tackle controlling, and ideally we want to hold the charge and then use an inside move. Because on the TV screen, you're going to see it like this. So you would want to pull your right trigger to swim over. You make a move to the TV right. For the defense, it would be his left-hand side, but you don't see it on the TV, so it's most natural for people to want to pull the trigger, what you see on the TV, to go to the right. You can spin move. You can white button to rip move in here, but the main goal is you want to consume this A-gap, this weak A-gap, and you know that you're going to have help in the strong A-gap, the strong B, the strong C, the D gap, all of that. You want to hit it. You want to bust through this hole in case there's any kind of counter action, any kind of play action. You're not responsible for this B gap, okay? And in fact, you have Engelberger here. He's going to take care of his business. And if we're both attacking this gap, we're doing just fine. So you don't want to attack the wrong gap. That's another thing when controlling your linebackers. So you can see we have to coordinate our secondary to our front to our coverage, okay? So we're going to look at that right here. There I was able to get my user control. I see the first time it just snapped the ball quickly. This time with the ball snapped, you can already see I'm holding A to get the charge. As soon as it hits, see, I try to time it as soon as it like very barely blinks red. I try to time it. I was just a little hair off there. I was anticipating as it got this full that it would be red and I'd be able to do something. But I pulled the right trigger and I didn't even need the full charge to get the swim over, to get off my block and attack. It's like, are we making the stop on the run play? No, but we're doing our job. We're doing our job as a nose. And we're creating problems, especially if it is like a fake pitch and a quarterback rollout or whatever. We're going to be chasing them down to get that sack. If there's any kind of cutbacks or counters, anything, like, there's like, just doing your job. Like, not worrying about the rest of the play itself, just knowing your position, knowing your blocks, what's in front of you, what your gap is. And if the center comes to you, then you know that you need to hit L trigger, okay? Because that would be the left side of the TV screen. So you would want to hit L trigger, but since this guy is attacking you, you want to hit right trigger. So don't just automatically think every time I snap the ball, I'm going to hit the left or the right trigger like predefined. You need to practice it. But if the center is coming towards us, we want to hit the L trigger, okay? To get off the center the other way, but it's the same kind of idea. And you've always got the white button, which is going to be that rip through, which is going to be like a big deal. which I think is going to be L1, which is going to be left bumper on the Xbox controller, because they don't have the black and white button. But if you can emulate straight from the Xbox and not like reverse compatibility, that's going to be like a big deal too. So I know I'm talking a lot about here, but it's like it's so important. Like the nose is the center of the run play, and he's not the one that makes the tackle, but I spend a lot of time on it because it is a focal point of the success of your defense, right? So it gets out there, and we get the run stuff. Kick, and you can see the line drawn up, right? So they gain more yards, and here I use the white button to get the rip. And the thing is, I notice a lot of times with the rip animation, you get caught into this and like get taken out of the play. So that's why I don't recommend the white button too much, especially against this leverage. It's a little better if the center comes towards you and you get the leverage the other way, but here we're like washing out and around. And that can be good for a sack here on a play action, as you see like he kind of rolls into us. But there's a reason why I try to like swim through with right trigger and left trigger. And depending on this leverage here, you could even potentially hit black button to get spin off, right? So we can just like literally go through a spin animation, though sometimes the spin tries to spin back inside and it's kind of funky. So you got to like practice it, see what you like, see what's consistent in terms of your animations. And so what's happening here is we still get in there, and we've also got our linebackers flowing, right? They're reading, we've got an edge, they have to pick it up, and it's just like eventually Tony Parrish, the safety, he's got the running back at the line of scrimmage. You got to finish the tackle, bro. You got to tackle him, you got to be forceful. And instead you let him go for a ride. Peterson just gets bumped and just falls off instead of getting involved as a second player in the animation. And he just drags forward. And sometimes it just happens. It just is what it is. You don't want to overcompensate for it, though. I'm going to try spinning. That's a good trick. Because other times you get that, right? So it comes up and doesn't even get blocked at all, and you're on the edge, and it's just not part of the scheme. The part of the scheme is getting Parrish here. We just got lucky that Plummer was like, nope, because Parrish is here to help out, right? And that's also part of the team defense, is everyone's flowing, right? Regardless of our corner, even if he's getting blocked, you've got Parrish here. You've got the rest of the defense flowing to help out. You've got the teeth of your defense inside to punish him, and you've got other guys flowing. And just in case they're not like going too far inside, in case he breaks that, we're going to the edge. You see that pursuit angle, 30 and 50? Like, in case he keeps going outside, they know that they've got the interior help here. So you've got multi-layers of defenders. Spot, 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 like all across the board. So, we said we're going to try spinning. That's a good trick, is we got it. We got the flashing red. And then we hit the black button for spin, and it completely came off exactly like we wanted. We can also see, like, when we're holding the charge, I feel that that is also, like, encouraging the bull rush move. You can see him bull rush, knee really low, getting really low thigh pads, getting really low shoulders, getting underneath the defender. We may or may not, sometimes I think after the charge you can press A second time and execute, we're going to practice it, execute a charged bull rush. Like, you let it get to full red, and I think there's that option. I might be mistaken there, where he tries to like shove him off. But the spin was really explosive and got off it. And again, it's going to be in McNabb's face if it's a play action. And it's also just generate clogging gaps. So let's try it one more time. And let's try all red with tapping A. Okay, no, that didn't work. He just stuck with it. Yeah, I might be all wrong with that. Or maybe it doesn't trigger. And then we got shoved down even though we're 99 strength. It's just like really good animation. Like real life animation of that battle in the trenches. Regardless of the legs like colliding with each other. Just look at these two. And they're fighting for getting lower. Right, the way he withstands right here, this is such a perfect real-life animation because I use real motion capture of NFL offensive linemen. You can watch the Bengals offensive line coach. Why can't I remember his name right now in the heat of the moment? I'm always McNally? But there's a YouTube video, like if you want to watch good offensive line play, of him talking about pro wrestling and sumo wrestling and all that kind of stuff, and the ankle bend and the knee bend and the back bend and all of that. What he calls like losing ground to gain ground, right? Like all of that kind of bend is a natural bend to withstand it. And you can see Isaac Sopoaga is trying with his 99 strength to get a push. And like he just holds on to it. He controls the body. There's the back step, the losing ground. He gives up with the feet, the losing ground, but he hasn't lost yardage, if that makes sense. And then he transfers that into positive power to drive his knees. Right? That's all something that, like, it's real motion capture because it's real offensive linemen. They got real NFL offensive linemen to do the motion capture in this game, and defensive linemen as well. They got all the, the motion capture beads or whatever it is all over their body, and they really got it down well. And then, just driving the leg, and you see he gets his shoulder in and down and drives, and it's beautiful, and he gets the pancake drive. It's absolutely fantastic. And it's a great battle right there. But also, we just learned that the bull rush isn't there. I know you didn't come here for offensive line porn. But, yeah, it's just like, here we go. Same thing. We've got our safety in position to stop it, right? So that is like coordinating one specific play to the front. Now, the reverse here is week 3. You can flip it to strong. If you call week 3, we need to reverse what we're doing with our defensive line. We need to call an under. We need to kick the linebackers over. So we're going to call the exact same play here. We're going to call a strong toss. We're going to kick the line one way, the linebackers the other. And we're going to attack this right gap. And again, we're coordinating the run, correct? So here, if you want to do this, this would be a situation where you will put Sopoaga here, and you would put Bryant Young here, and you would probably put Carter here, and you'd probably put Engelberger here, and then you've got the linebacker kicked over, and that would most likely be Julian Peterson, and this would be Ulbrich, okay? I think that's kind of how the defense is set up with the January 7th, 2005 roster. I think that is how it's technically set up. So, to me, I didn't really like having Bryant Young as the weak side defensive tackle, but there's nothing wrong with it. So, we can still have it. He still is decent. I mean, he doesn't have as much strength in the game, like 60-something. He's going to eat 2 blocks, so that's also why you want like the 99 strength guy in there. And then you can have the one-on-one with Bryant Young here, but you can see he's just getting shoved around. And maybe 2 guys are going to shove you around, like, regardless. But you can see you have the safety here. He's not going to come up immediately and be there crashing at the line of scrimmage. In fact, he should be the whole player. He backs off, or at least he goes equal. And then he reacts to the toss. Because short of a halfback pass, this is going to be a run. You know? So it's like, it's coordinated to the fact that if they have a weak side run, we're coordinating with the safety to help with the weak side run. So let's talk about that as well, okay? Let's go again with base, okay? What can I do? Swap defensive end, swap defensive tackle. Yeah, I can swap defensive tackle. That's another thing that you can do here. You can just go to swap the tackles if you want, and you can go again base, and you can call 3 weak if you feel... And we're going to talk about when and why you would call these plays, but it's constantly coordinating your front and your secondary. So let's say we know that we want to kick an under and that we want to kick the linebackers over because, the under front. So the 3 weak shell. And then let's again, but instead of that, let's go with the weak outside zone. Weak ISO, let's go weak outside zone. Alright, almost made it, but it just got snapped way too early for me to even make a difference getting off the ball. We'll probably let it run again, but we saw the defensive tackle slip, so now, again, we have Young here, and we've got everyone in the same kind of coverage, and now he's in a high. And the point is, he is in that zone here, and so anything that goes outside, he's going to try to stuff. And what we've got to do is we don't want Derek Smith doing this garbage, this backwards, weird, stupid crap. And we want him involved more aggressively. So let's go under, let's go like that. Okay, when I'm double teamed, I cannot get any pass rushing move to work, but he's just fighting. He's getting moved off the ball, but his 99 strength, you can see it. 2 guys, and he just refuses to get moved very much off the ball. That's really good. You know, as opposed to what we saw with Bryant Young earlier. So, you can see the defense, it's coordinated, and the defense just gets in there. Like, if he tries to go wide, we've got players wide outside, and we have help inside here, Derek Smith, and everyone else crashing down. Anything inside. Tony Parrish comes up later. That's the point. So let's go back to base, and we're fine with that. And let's go back to that's fine. Back to base, and we're gonna call Strong Blast 3 again, and we're gonna call again the weak outside zone. So we're again going to go right thumbstick to the right, L trigger right thumbstick to the left, so that we're doing an over front. Clickety click. Just like this. And what I talked about earlier in this video is if the center engages with you, we're L triggering instead of right triggering. So you're reading who's blocking you. That's why we L trigger to try to get off. We lost it a little bit, but we're still attacking this gap. We're not right triggering. So you don't automatically L trigger, you don't automatically right trigger. You see who's going to block you, and then you react with what kind of move you want to use. Now remember, we're blitzing here, and we had the help of Tony Parrish here, but we're coordinated with our front. So we've got a weak overhang, and we've got linebackers. We've got a blitzer right here. It goes weak, and we basically have 2 guys here. So we've got linebacker here, and we get our tackle. And we've also got the safety ends up coming out and helping us as he crosses the line of scrimmage, and the rest of our team flowing. So what I've shown you with 3 weak here, and I've shown you with Strong Blast 3 here. I've shown you the shell that we want overs and unders. Sorry for the yawning. We have overs and unders, and you need to know how your secondary is coordinated to your front. So the next thing that's often asked is what happens whenever the offense is like overloaded. Okay, here you go. So instead of like an I formation, I guess I could also say this. I know, I'm sorry, I'm distracted. I hope you can follow me. I formation, I've said in other videos, I love this formation. It's a classic formation for a reason. And it's because you're overloaded strong, but it doesn't look like you are. Right? Center, guard, tackle is basically 2 guys left of center with the option of the fullback leading as the 3rd guy left of center. In which case, 1, 2, 3 left of center. And then you've got guard and tackle tight end, 3 right of center. And you can attack balanced from the I formation. But if you're 1, 2, 3 guys right of center and you lead with the fullback, now you're 4 right of center. You're 4 to the right and only 2 to the left, so you're strong overloaded. And if you down block and then pull a guard over, suddenly you're down blocking with the center or whatever. You're pulling a guard. Now you're 1, 2, 3, 4. You're 5 guys on a power play with a pulling guard, and you're like 5 guys to the right, 1 to the left. Like, it's pretty wild. That's what the I formation can do, and it seems simple, but there's a reason why it was popular for so long. You just start getting numbers in the box, right? Okay, so as I was trying to say, like, what do you do when you're overloaded to a side? And that's why I got distracted, because technically you can argue that I formation is also overloaded, and I've already answered that question. But we have this situation where it's not a guess, it's not an I formation balance, it's like literally you have 2 tight ends to one side. So we're going to do a strong toss to that side, and we're going to have, I mean, you already got the answer right there, right? So you're going to want your linebackers over, okay? You can keep your D-line as is. You can pinch your D-line down to cover your A-gaps. But you've got to be able to account for this overhang outside the tight end. This spot here, this gap, is the biggest thing. If they can seal the edge, if they can block the edge on you, they can get you. Okay? That's what they're trying to do. Okay? So let's just do this. Keep it like that. Let's kick the line over like that and see how it works. Okay? So, we kick the line like a 3-4 front here, but we leave the linebackers alone. Okay? So, we are defensively to the right of center. On the offensive perspective, left of center. So we're already counting left of center 1, 2 guys, and then zeroed could be 3, 4, versus center and 2 blockers is 3. Even if they come with a pooler, 4 to equal 1-on-1, we still have the ability to scrape over if it's like a weak counter or whatever. So we can slide the defensive line over but leave the linebackers as they are because we know we've got our overhang coming from the safety position, even if they seal the edge like they're doing right here. Right? Even the defender comes up and he's like, look, I got to split these tight ends, right? And he automatically does that, which is really nice. You've got your linebacker free to flow. You've got a linebacker free to flow. And you've got the edge taken care of. Regardless of our corner, even if he gets blocked, the guy that's supposed to be unblocked is here to make the play, which is the safety here. And he should be outside the wide receiver, or not the wide receiver, outside the running back, to not allow him to bounce. And you've got the mic here with potentially the safety coming down as well. So you're coordinated that way. So you can kick the linebackers over, kick the line underneath. And by doing that, like, you're a little weak on the weak side, but it's going to be okay. And it's still just like a giant cluster. Because, again, we're like overloading to one side. That's why I don't like this one as much. Because left of center is just 3 guys. And you got 3 guys one-on-one. So if they bring a 4th guy over, we're like totally screwed. We try to be +1 to each side. So if they have left of center, you say, oh, there's 2 guys. So we've got 3, so we're +1. Don't forget the center does exist. Don't forget that we can cut off here. And it can be center. It could be 3 versus 3. And they can pull guards and they can do things. They can down block here and then pull a guard this way on a counter, and it's still 1, 2, and then this guy 3 against our 3, and we're screwed. And we have this guy as deep zone, so he's not going to run up and make the play. So don't really like this front. Don't really recommend this front to this secondary play. Do not do this, okay? I don't care that it worked, okay? Even look, as the middle linebacker gets cut out, like, we can run behind this. We can, as a running back, we can L trigger and just jump inside this, just jump cut. They're just getting pushed out. So no, we definitely want to be like that, but leave the linebackers still, okay? When they're double stacked like that, don't put the linebackers underneath. Okay? So before I was kicking the linebackers away. Here, I'm still going to shift my defensive line to a strong side, but we leave the linebackers as they are because they're overcommitted. I hope that makes sense. And so here, they just don't even block our guy. It makes life easy. But even if he's blocked, like say 69, John Runyon does his job like he would in real life, who's taking care of the safety? Who's taking care of the safety? Who's taking care of the Mike backer? Like, even when he touches him, right? Even when he touches him, we're still at the positive angle to get off that block, right? We're still fighting through. And the fact that Ulbrich got off of his double team, he pushed off, right? He ate that double team and just kept upright, shoved his guy down, and continued to flow, right? So defensive line over, keep the linebackers as they are. And so Now you've seen it. Let's see what they have in terms of counter runs. We're going to call the same base. We're going to call the Strong Blast 3. And they're going to stay like this. They have weak. They have strong toss. They have weak trap. Weak slam. Weak trap will be interesting. How are they going to handle weak trap? That was pretty good. They let me upfield. And then they shoved me out. That is pretty solid. Love it. Love the blocking scheme that they have right there. And they got to the linebacker, and then they trap kicked me out, and they just split the zone. That is really, really, really good. That's exactly how you want to handle it. So, like, that is a really good threat of a play. Keeping the linebackers as they are. That one worked, the other didn't work. Like, trying to just stay upfield, stay honest, and anchor down, especially with our 99 strength guy. Probably want to white button this. We still got planted, and we didn't let them, like, throw us off. He still has the chance to split these two, right? But they really close down and clamp down, right? And that's another thing here with Engelberger. He knows that he's got help out here, so he can take an inside angle, right? It's fantastic. The trap gutted us one time. We, again, keep our linebackers where they are. And he just avoids the guys. I mean, there's not much you can do here. If Westbrook just avoids and Peterson doesn't know how to tackle, doesn't know how to pursue, there's not much you can do. But we put our guys in a position where they should be able to do something. Right, it's not always going to work. And this is like super basic, and I'm like over half an hour into this. And we're just talking about a base play, right? We're not even going into the other intricacies. But we're talking about 3 weak, which you can flip and turns into 3 strong if you want, so just be aware of that with how you want to adjust your defensive line and your linebackers. And the same thing here with Strong Blast 3 is where it was Strong Blast 3, now it's Weak Blast 3, so when you flip it, make sure that you adjust your defensive line in your front to what you want. Okay? That's all a thing in terms of like the cover 3. Oh, let's see. Out of cover 3, I continue to look. 3 weak. There's Key Zone. Key Zone is, it's not a Tampa 2. It's definitely 3 deep, but it has the safeties playing the hooks and it has the linebackers splitting out. This is one where you'd probably want to split the linebackers. Let's go base and like talk about why I do and don't like about this play. Let's go strong toss. Let's go linebackers and right thumbstick. And that's not exactly what I wanted, but whatever. Trigger linebackers up. Show the play. There you go. And so, because our safeties, both safeties are playing up, and it's the middle linebacker who's bailing to the deep middle, we can be more aggressive in terms of these run plays to fill gaps and get stops inside, right? So, it's a decent pass defense, but it also lets both safeties get involved in the run game. They can be 10 yards off the ball and yet still meet ball carriers, whether it's pitch one way or pitch the other. They can meet ball carriers in the backfield. So let's again go base. Let's go back to Key Zone. We're going to spread the linebackers. And here we're going to go weak outside zone. So up, click, take our gap. And you can see it here. Left trigger on the center. And we can be very aggressive with our safeties and Mike linebacker. Everyone able to take their position. One of the reasons why we split the linebackers is we know we're going to be dropping to that zone there. And we know he's going to be dropping to this zone underneath. So we give them the utmost opportunity to do that. Also with the 4 down linemen, 5, 6 here. If you really know your football history, Do you remember the Patriots and Rams played the Super Bowl in what many people consider the most boring Super Bowl? I don't mean the 2001 Super Bowl, but the one with Jared Goff. Yeah, this in a lot of ways is the defense New England used to stop the Rams' running game. 6 on the line, single backer high. And I don't mean the specific coverage, but having the 4 down with 5-6 on the line and 1 up. Basically a 6-1 defense. Okay? I've been showing you 5-2 defenses where 1 linebacker is up on the line and 2 linebackers are off ball. This is a 6-1, so we have a 5-2 and a 6-1. Even though it's called the 4-3 defense, we're really shifting the linebacker to one side or the other. So, yeah, this is like really brutal for the zone running play. And as you can see, like, you've got all 7 guys and they're taking care of gaps, right? 2 A gaps is 2, 2 B gaps is 4, 2 C gaps is 6. There is 7, and with the fullback makes 8 gaps. 7 defenders for 8 gaps. But we are aggressively getting our safeties involved. So it's not really just 7 in the box. The offensive coordinator sees this. The defensive coordinator sees this. Right? Offensive coordinator sees 7. Defensive coordinator sees 9. Especially on this key zone play, that we know that we're going to have aggressive safety play, attacking the line of scrimmage. At the point of contact, we're already within 5 yards, and we're ready if he tries to go further outside to meet him at the line of scrimmage, and we're playing team defense, right? So you got to know, you don't just know, what are you expecting? What are you trying to defend against in general? And how are you going to set your linebackers and your front to make the play successful? Because in my video, we're not even digging into the extra layer of disguising your coverages, which is kind of like putting your guys in a bad spot, like visually. But because you're calling a play to rotate the coverage to make up for it because of blitzes or spins or whatever. But these games are not as good as allowing you to do that, if it makes sense. So, that's key zone. We've seen 3 weak. What else do we have for 3? I'm not going to show you 4 cloud right now. 4 sky is another variation of it. Is what we can do there is, again, split the linebackers because we see both of the outside linebackers are going really wide. So this is another play where we're going to want to basically call a 6-1 front with 4 sky. You've got 3 spear. So you saw earlier we had strong blast 3, here the B button, sending the outside linebacker and asking the safety to be the zone player that can come up and support. As we look at it now, we can have spear 3, and that's the X button here, and it's the safety that's coming up aggressively and attacking. So one of the things that we can do is, again, we can show the 6-1 front by L-triggering and spreading the defensive line. So we're going to call that. We're going to call the toss. We're going to thumbstick up, and we're going to do that. And they're just, like you can see, as they're crashing. So we're 6-1 fronting it by L-trigger controlling the linebackers, right thumbstick up to 6-1 the front. But we're also going to kick over our nose to the strong side. Because, again, remember, they with the fullback and a potential puller or anything like that, they can be +1 to one side. So if we kind of zero it out as 1-2 guys, 3-4 to the left versus center 1-2, 3-4, and then we've got any kind of flow that we need. But then here we also have, again, zeroing with the center. Someone's going to take it. So we've got 1-2-3 of these 1-2-3, but we're blitzing number 4, and we still got the center free. That can be a 5th guy involved in the run game, and that's exactly what happens. The center and all of them attack Brian Young, so that's 2 guys, hat on a hat, and now they still have 1 blocker. Like right now, we're taking care of the nose, don't want penetration as an offense, hat on a hat, but there's 2 defenders against our blocker and our fullback, and that's just not going to be enough. That even if Bryant Young didn't just dominate up front, which that's Carter. Okay, Carter dominates up front. Got it. Yeah. Also a good reason to have Carter with the 81 run coverage. If Carter doesn't dominate up front, you still have 2 unblocked defenders free helping us out. And it's exactly important here as Westbrook goes whoop and just tries to slip through. And you still get the block by Richie, and he's slipping through again. We're just playing so much team defense that we're coming in and clogging. And while not everyone is going to be perfect, you've got so much going for you. And all this time, I'm using base. I'm not using gap right, gap left, twist, or anything like that. Okay? Let's see here. Again, weak can be strong. Strong blast could be weak blast. That's important. Key zone doesn't really matter. If you flip it, doesn't make a difference. If we make it or not, we've got each other, and that's a lot for love. Same thing here. We can say which safety we want to be our strong and weak safety. Who's aggressively going to take care of things. Especially if we're going to kick our line to the right-hand side, we want the weak side safety, the free safety, to be the one to help with weak side runs. We don't need to kick the line the same way. If we're going to kick an under front, we may want this. So the strong safety is helping us out. We've got our line kicked to the left. Remember that if we say swap defensive tackle here, and we want the nose and everything, we want the defensive line to go to the left. We're going to go base, and we can do this. And again, we can say strong toss, and we can do that, and then we can do that. And it works. We try to 6-1. Try to 6-1 front, and then we kick the line over like that, and we know that we have the help hat on hat across the board, and it's still not the best there, so we may want to go under and then kick the linebackers over here. Yeah, that's a lot better, and even when he slips through, we've got these linebackers bailing to the left. So this is what I was saying a little bit earlier about like disguising a coverage. Is this the best position to have this guy cover this zone way out here, asking him to run all the way out there? Is it the best to have this linebacker here just to cover all the way over here? No, it's not the best. But if you're trying to fool the quarterback, and then he's bailing here, and he's bailing here, and he's bailing back, and he's filling in, or actually he's not bailing back, he's bailing out here, and he's filling forward, it's still pretty good. Again, do I like this? Do I recommend this? Not so much. We're like 1, 2, 3, 4 with 5 against, the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Like, it can work. We can get the guy free over. We're still getting gaps that, like, hat on hat. He's filling this gap here. He can fill this gap here. We kind of have some look here. We make some contact. He gets 4 yards. We don't want to give up 4 yards. It's not the most recommended way. It says 3, but it was over 3. It's not the most recommended way to do things, but it's just a way of keeping the offense off balance to keep your defense from being predictable. And so I mentioned 3 spear. You can send the spear either way. So you've got blitzing from either safety position. You've got sky flipping. Strong ending also is going to be flipping from there. You have strong weak here, like flipping who's in coverage. You've got which linebackers you want to flip in coverage. And I don't see a middle linebacker blitz from 3. Maybe I didn't put it in my playbook. Maybe the game doesn't have one. So I'd never recommend it because I don't like having my mic blitz straight ahead. I want my mic to be able to have like a lateral freedom to move left in this case, to move right in the other case, and not blitzing a gap. So that's probably a reason why I didn't do it. Like, just to show off, oh, what do you do in this play? It's like, I don't really like blitzing the mic. I like having him roam free. So that's a thing. So we've talked about all those, like, 3 high looks. A complement to the 3 high looks are the 1 high looks. Because 3 high is middle of the field covered. 1 high is middle of the field covered. Yeah? Pretty easy to remember that. Is here we have strong blast, the B button. So if we're bailing with the weak safety, what do you think we should do? Like, go ahead and answer to yourself in your mind. Go ahead and type a comment, whatever. Where do you think we should kick the line and the linebackers? Who's helping out in the strong side? Well, to me, my safety should be the one covering the tight end. And my strong side linebacker is blitzing. But who's helping weak? No one really. So to me, I don't want to kick the linebackers over the tight end also, because I already have the safety. So I want to kick the linebackers weak and the line strong. So we're going to go here, we're going to go here, we're going to do this. Line strong, linebackers weak. And we got him. Right, got him! Right? So we're kicked out over the tight end with the safety. We're on the tight end. We're filling this gap. We're up here, and yet we're kicked out. We've got an overhang, and we've got lined up along with gaps. So 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left-hand side against these 3, potentially 4 blockers. With the linebacker, he's technically blitzing, but he has the ability. They have the ability to flow, right? And so 4 to the right versus these 1, 2, 3, potentially 4 with the ability to flow as well. Okay? He gets picked up, as he usually has got to be able to run. But it's like, okay, you can only block one of them. You're either blocking the safety or you're blocking the defensive lineman. And it's just like, we just take him out. Right? Sorry. Kick. Come on, kick. And you see, we're just constantly taking care of business. Every day, taking care of business. Just shutting down the running game because we're coordinated to it. So, if that's what we see with Strong Blast 1 and we flip it, you gotta bet that we're going to be doing the same here. We need the linebackers to be to the right because we do not have a safety on the tight end, and we're going to have the weak side safety. Is that what we really want? Who's he going to man against? Okay, so let's look at it. We're going to kick the linebackers to the right, and we're going to see where the man align on the weak safety, the free safety, is on this strong toss play. And it doesn't work so well. And we even went both linemen and linebackers over there. And our safety, our free safety, still came up to that position. And we dropped the strong safety here. That's interesting. That's worth knowing. So Hurt has already done that. That is fascinating. So he's already automatically lined up like this. Okay. And we're blitzing here from this position. So that's good to know. So if you do call it and you do flip it, you can still kick the line over. But really not a fan of this flow. Not a fan of the edge, not a fan of the flow. Even though we get the stop. Yeah, we're really relying on Plummer to make the stop here. So that's why it's good to practice. It's good to practice. So you can call anything you want. I'm just looking at Strong Blast 1. I think you would flip it if you know they're going to go tight end left a lot. And you're just like inverting what we did out of Strong. But if they're going to go tight end right, I don't like it. I don't like what we're seeing. I don't like what we're seeing out of the run protection and everything. But basically I give you the opportunity to send either linebacker and then the safeties flip spots, right? And it's very much the same with the weak crash 1. Is if you're going to send the corner, okay, there's a whole video. I'm going to make a whole video about blitzing the corners. Like, we can talk about blitzing the safeties easier, but blitzing the corners, I'm going to make a whole video out of that. So really, I don't want to mess with weak crash 1 in this video right now. Fire Force 0 is also pretty clear and obvious. You probably want a 6-1 front, and you want to pinch the defensive line. So we can, again, go pinch, and we can do here, like that. And you're just cover zero. You're pinching the line, the A gaps. You're spreading the linebackers. You just got everyone in the box, right? It's a 9-man box with 10, 11 back there, and you're saying, I dare you to throw it to Owens one-on-one. I dare you to do it because we're just going to 9-man box your run game. So do you really need to go into detail about force fire 0? I don't think so. Spear 1 is the same as Spear 3, right? We had Spear 3 as a play. Yeah, Spear 3 and Spear 1. It's the same thing. And we've already talked about Strong Blast 1. It's the same logic, okay? Except the safety isn't covering the tight end. The safety is blitzing, okay? So I think it's pretty obvious. And all blitz is also obvious. It's the same thing as the fire 0. Only you have one less man in man coverage. Tight fire 0, I would probably want to under this because you're aggressively attacking to one side. You've got to really stack how your overload is. I would attack the weak side to pressure the quarterback. And then I would overstack the strong side because we're overloading the weak side. So if we go like this and we have what's just like play action 50s, goes, whatever. We're like here. And you're just asking to get cooked. Like, I don't like zeros. Like, this is why. Like, I don't recommend it. You're just begging to get cooked. You want to save it for, like, backed up. Like, they're inside, like, the 15-yard line. You're not, like, goal line defense yet, but you're definitely inside the red zone, but not even the 20. Like, inside the 18, inside the 15, 16, whatever. Where there's not as much deep field to go against. But I don't necessarily recommend the zeros. They're in the playbook. I don't even think I chose my playbook. I think I loaded it and didn't even choose. It's just the default Niners playbook. Let's see. The Cloud 4 I don't like. I don't like it for several reasons. Just like the video game way that it plays it. It's not playing like a true 4. I don't even know why it's called 4 Cloud. It is like a cloud coverage by what's the difference with Sky and Cloud? Sky is when the two corners are deep thirds and one safety is a deep third and the other safety is in a buzz zone or a hook zone, seam curl flat zone. Cloud is when the two safeties are in the 2/3 and one corner is in a deep third. That's Sky and Cloud. If you didn't know the difference, now you do. So for Cloud, I don't really like it. Your run support is that corner. So you're like run supporting with a corner here, I guess. And then you want to kick the linebacker's weak side and the front of the other way. So let's go I formation and let's go toss and linebackers there in the front here. And while you do get some safety help, instead of him being in the seam curl flat or whatever, like, he's not going to be up at the line of scrimmage where he was before, right? Like, the contact point does make a difference. Instead of him making contact at or behind the line of scrimmage before, he's making contact here. And you're really basically asking this player to be your run support while he's, like, engaged in blocks or whatever. I don't like it. It's a more passive, like, pass defense. So it's like, it's not a horrible play. I'm not saying never call it. But you want to call it in a situation where you think they're going to throw it. And the other thing that I don't like about it is it doesn't really bracket the receiver. It doesn't bracket the X or the Z or anything with like a high-low. So there's a lot I don't like about it. I think I cut it out of my custom playbook, so I don't recommend it at all. Cover 2 hard and cover 2 soft in zones. I generally recommend these to be, again, red zone defenses where the field is condensed and so you don't have a deep field to attack, especially because it's a video game and those corners are just going to sit at a spot and they're not going to like buzz underneath or whatever, and they're just going to attack the holes Like, the offense is going to attack the holes in the defense. Like, can you see the obvious holes in the defense here? The deep middle, especially, it's not a Tampa 2, it's a 2 soft. So the middle linebacker is not even playing, like, the hole like he does here in key zone, right? So the middle is, like, not really covered, but also the corner routes, like the the front pylons, are not really covered well. So beyond the soft curl route, breaking out, it's like, what is this good against? They don't even have the route for it, do they here? No, they don't. So let's go single back. Do they even have like a regular old curls play? They don't really have a regular curls play, right? Like, that's the thing. Like look at 50 stopping corners, right? Those corners are both going to attack the weakness of this defense, right? So you can see as he goes out, like, it's the bump, and it's just like there's a hole. It's easy to attack there, right? There's a hole, and it's easy to attack here. Now, as an offense, if you do see this, and you have like 100 coverage or whatever it is for the computer, sometimes they will like peel back and like swat the ball, and they'll like high-low this. And so as a user, it can be a little difficult to complete it. But this is really like among the weaknesses. Like, you just get someone to attack here. You can get someone to attack the shield here, right? There's a lot of routes. There's a lot of posts that'll just, like, while the safety bails, the post underneath towards the shield will attack it, and the corners. So, like, both corners and posts just attack this play. Not a fan of it at all. Don't care the fact that it was a 0-yard completion. But too hard and too soft are fine for me. Again, inside the 17 or inside the 18, inside the 16 yards, whatever, but before goal lining, because of the condensed field. There just isn't much room for the offense to attack. There's not much stretching happening here, right? So here is the break, right? If they are on the 10-yard line, that means this is the end zone and this is the back of the end zone. Suddenly he's throwing to the back pylon, and maybe this is out of bounds, right? Can we change it? Yards to go. Away team's 10-yard line. Too soft. And stop corners. Not to imagine, we can just do it. We can get the drop sack. Okay, cool. He doesn't throw it. But we don't have to imagine anymore. It's right here. Hit the back pylon. Right? Even in a condensed front. It's like, it's there. The pass is there. Right? Even in a condensed front. Like, this one is taken away better. And again, I'm sure it's because it's Plummer, and Plummer has a much higher coverage rating. If we go to depth chart defense, and we say Plummer versus Rumpf, his coverage rating, you can see there, is 82. Rumpf is 79, but it's sub 80. I'm pretty sure that that difference of those few points is the difference between him, like, with that press and bailing and trying to be in position to take it away. And you can see him trying to bend back, so we've got a little bit of help there. Versus potentially, you know, not doing that here. Like, he does have the bump, but he doesn't play it as well. He plays it, like, okay. But you can imagine how a well-placed ball is just going to cut it up. So, and it's going to be the same if you're in too hard, right? It's just going to be even worse because the gaps are even wider. And we get the sack. So he's not courageous enough to throw it, even though the routes are there. Like, there's no one here to deflect or defend that pass. Right? It's the same thing here. I don't like just giving that up. And then you've got all kinds of like pocket space here, a dig route, you know, over the middle in either direction. You can have the post over the middle, and then you've got like a distractor over here. There's just so much just angle out here, angle in here, reverse, angle in here, angle out here. There's just so much to attack that I don't like cover too hard. I don't like cover too soft. I usually would rather call something like Weak Blast 2, but not Weak Blast too hard. I'd rather call like Weak Blast too soft or whatever. So at least I'm sending a fifth man at the quarterback so that we've got more pressure and causing problems. Like, that's a thing. So, yeah, not my favorite plays. I'm pretty sure this isn't even my book. So let's go quit. Let's go game modes, let's go practice, let's go scrimmage, let's go full scrimmage, let's go like that. Let's go them Eagles. Let's go 49ers. I want to load my playbook. Thought I loaded my playbook. Practice, scrimmage, full scrimmage. Them Eagles. And then San Francisco. Practice facility, Aloha Stadium. Cheesesteak Dome. They have the funny places, huh? Even before 2K8 came out, but they didn't have like the special cartoon domes, but they had the silly names, huh? So many of them for like the makeup teams, huh? Outback Field. The Bills, Panthers, all of that. Let's go. RCA, Colts, Jags, Dolphins, Vikings, Pats. Oakland. Yeah, Lincoln Financial Field. There we go. Okay, so let's go to the scrimmage and let's go the away team's 10-yard line and goal and base. Yeah, I need to get rid of hard and soft out of the playbook. I need to get rid of the 0 probably. But yeah, we can see key zone, weak zone, force guy spear. We can see strong Indian. We can see weak blaze. We can see, there we go. See, now we've got Weak Blast 3. We have Strong Blast 3 here. This is Strong Blast 3. And Weak Blast 3. Right? So it's sending the blitz the same side as the weak safety. And it's sending the same blitz as the strong safety. Yeah. So that's right. So it's kind of unnecessary. So I can probably just remove it when you just call a flip. But also sometimes the video game is like, hey, you called the same play again or whatever. So you see here we have cover 3. And there's like 3 and there's 3 weak, right? But we get to our point. Well, I was talking about cover 2 hard and soft and all that. Strong Blast 2 soft. There's another version that has the middle linebacker blitzing straight up the field. I like this one like a little bit more. I think I'm going to try both of them, see which one gets the better animation. But the idea is at least we're sending 5 at the quarterback. Okay? So we're going to go Strong Blast 2 soft. And we're going to... I don't know. We don't want 3 wide because I would call a defense accordingly. If they had 3 wide, I'd go nickel. So, split backs, no. I formation, sure. Basic I. Philly option screen, no. Rollout flare, play action counter pass shovel, whatever, no. Twins, Z hot. Not really a red zone play, but we can try it just to show it. He catches it. And let's do here and here. Yeah, that's really solid. I'm not saying it's the best play for the offense, but here we're eating the blocks with the center, with the nose tackle, and then the angle of the linebacker is not straight up field, and it's going to the strong A gap to get around and really cause problems, right? So we're basically clogging all those gaps. We're not even letting McNabb run up the middle. That's a thing that users would do online, is they would just drop back and then run up the middle, and it's like, you've got 3 defenders right in the middle. That's not going to happen, buddy. And then we've got outside overhangs and coverages and everything if they're trying to scramble. So let's switch up here. Let's again go with base. And let's call the Strong Blast 2 soft. And let's stick with 3 wide or whatever. Coach's pick. That's the play we just called. Interesting. The game wants that to be the coach's pick. That's quite interesting. Okay, and just fighting inside and just clogging gaps, and he eventually throws. So we're going to go back to what I was practicing against before. Let's go base, and let's Strong Blast 2. And like that, and 50 stop corners, and here, and here. So we've got linebacker over. Great. Okay. So, we fought, we lost, we got blasted. But again, just like, it's a wall of guys. So they can't just immediately... And he gets thrown down so he can take off up the gut. But we try our best not to allow that to happen. I mean, just because it can take it for the touchdown doesn't mean we made life easy for him. And as they drop back, yeah, it's just a little bit better. And he can cross over and all of that. I'm going to spin. There we go, get the sack. Spin out. And like, it's the blitz where it just clogs the lanes. And makes life tough on the quarterback. Right? And as they try to curve, as they try to do things, it's just better than the basic soft or hard. It's just the soft and hard are too lackadaisical. And then obviously we can flip it here. So if we flip it, and again we have that, and we're like linebackers like that. I just don't like having that gap, that slot not covered properly. Almost got the sack there, huh? But yeah, we want the linebacker, the Mike, going opposite of our nose tackle. Like the nose tackle is in the strong A, so we want the Mike to go to the weak A. And we just want to clog gaps. And again, as the defensive tackle, we hit the spin move on our guy, get off and start chasing McNabb. I didn't get an ankle sack. And he just kind of like moved, and I could have done better. And yeah, they've got this wide open and they don't see it, right? A real human would hit that, and so you just like give it up and you feel like trash. But you tried your best, right? Base. And there's inside blast 2 soft. Good. There it is. Finally took the shot to the back corner. The thing I said where it was weak, and he finally hits it. Finally proves my point. Don't like that, so let's go over. Let's click it like that. And he drops what should have been a touchdown pass. But again, we can see, especially with the spin and everything, we're just clogging gaps. I wonder if we want defense outside leverage. Yeah, outside leverage for the W, huh? And I stepped out of bounds because I hit spin move. Yeah, outside leverage for the dub, bro. Outside leverage for the dub. Right thumbstick to the right trigger, right thumbstick to the right is outside leverage. He can scramble right up the gut. He can get sacked. He can get whatever. Right trigger, right, left trigger, that way. Ooh, almost going for the pick again. Okay, so that's the thing. Outside leverage, inside leverage. That's pretty darn good. You're going to give up the slant so freaking hard here. That's the other thing. He's off that, and you're just like asking for the slant, okay? That's why we're supposed to have this guy here to take it away. We're supposed to have him maybe drive on the slant. So do they have a slant to practice against? They go base. Inside blast like that. They have a slants play. They got play action slants. That might be good enough. Like fake the run inside. Outside leverage. There you go. Slants ate it up. Just like we expected. The play action, we did outside leverage, which let the inside get wide open. And that's the threat. So yeah, if they want to attack the outside with a cover 2, you can just... There's 2 slants that they could have gotten on you. But yeah, they just bail the middle of the field. There's the blitz. You got the timing. You got the throw. You're just going to get cut apart. So there you go. As I said, the slants, if you just make it so obvious for the human, for the computer, whatever, we go too soft, they're going to take advantage of it. Play action slant again. Do this, do that. Outside leverage. It's not the blitz. And he doesn't jump the interception. It's like he wants the interception, but he does this animation for it. Okay, like that, like that, like that, like that. We tell back off. And back to the end zone, which again is the weakness. This area. And while it took a little bit more time to get there, that's the weakness of the cover 2. So it's just proving the point that I got to earlier, is while sometimes the blitz and the outside leverage was like a killer play, I don't like giving that up. I'm sorry, I don't. So if you're watching this far, we're like an hour, 20 minutes into the video. If you're still here, it's like you say, like, Paul, what's the answer then, bro? What do we do? Like, why do we even call that play? Like, first, I don't want to call it. In real life, I call it just to, like, keep my opponent guessing. And when I say keep my opponent guessing, because, especially when I'm playing a real-life human, one of, like, my go-to play to make them, you know, respect me is cover 2 man, and you saw it if you watched my video of me playing against the Eagles. Cover 2 man inside leverage. So, right trigger to bring up the cornerback adjustments, and then right thumbstick to the left. Okay? That's inside leverage. To the left is inside leverage, to the right is outside leverage. So, 2 man, we're going to have here, we're going to do the slant. So, inside leverage. Let's go! Inside leverage, get skunked. 6 it, house it, come on, let's go. Let's go! What's good? Let's go! 103-yard reception. Let's go! He still kind of had it, huh? Kinda. Maybe if someone wants to drive on the ball or whatever, but it's going to be a little tough. But that's the inside leverage that was cooking him, huh? Whether it was a slant or anything. Let's go. Glad we got that on film. Take it out. This is like Ed Reed. No, no, no. Don't take it out. No, 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 no. Yes, 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 yes. Go, 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 go. I said tippity tap, tap, tap. And then I told you before in another video, if you watched it, charge to the full red as they close the gap, then tap out of it. And they don't have a chance. And I timed that one correctly this time. And we sixed it. Inside leverage. And we're going to house it again. We're going to get down. It's not easy to do it. Again, inside leverage. Inside leverage, yo. So yeah, if they think that they're going to attack me like that, like no. We're going to inside leverage them. We're going to attack them. And so let's be fair. Let's go base. Let's go 2-man under. And let's go back to 50 stop corners. And let's go inside leverage. What's up? Inside leverage again. Okay. Off the hands of the interception. Because inside leverage, baby. Using the outside field, the boundary as another defender. Protecting inside leverage and nearly picking it. Right? That's the thing. The cover 2 man versus the zone. Inside leverage, fighting with him. Anything goes out there, right? They want to run quick and out or whatever, like, let them. So, if they try to find an answer for your inside leverage and you've got to go outside leverage and you want to play the rock, paper, scissors game or whatever, like you can, that's the closest answer I'm going to get for you when it comes to a reason of calling too soft and too hard, is make sure you establish 2-man inside leverage. Threaten them with that. Because I do not like 2-man soft, or I don't like too soft. It's not 2-man soft, there's no such thing. I don't like too soft or too hard with inside leverage at all. Like, it's just more of the same problem. We saw the parts of the field that they can attack, and you're not even having the guys follow there. So you need outside leverage. So you're just like kind of playing a little game there. So I really don't like it at all. I don't like any of the versions. And anything else to show? We've shown the various blitzes. Cover 3 strong is a good one. 3 sky here. Yeah, now we've got the strong safety covering the flats is the same thing, is really good. 3 strong is really, this is a cloud coverage that we mentioned. So it's not run support, it's a passing cover 3 play. So the purpose of this 3 strong play is whenever you want to kind of double a receiver. So you really need to be able to kick your linebackers to a side, maybe leave your defensive line alone, or kick your linebackers and your linemen kind of the same side, because you're not going to have any other strong side support. So at least the defensive line leave the linebackers alone or something in terms of run support, but it's mostly a passing down. And again, the point is that you want to high-low bracket the X receiver, or you want to high-low bracket the Z receiver with that corner that's in the soft and the safety that's going up top. And you notice the coverage angle is a lot better than it is for the 2 soft, right? So we're going to go like that. And it's like, pickety pick, baby. He's like, it's a lot different. It doesn't have the same weakness to the corner area. And it's like, we're doubling it. And that's our intention. He didn't throw this way, but we're high-lowing this receiver. And we've also got the middle of the field high-low here. In case they're trying to run any kind of post-action here, they're trying to run anything behind it. They may get a touchdown. If they try to throw this posting, they can throw to this E and the Eagles, the bottom between the E and the A and the Eagles, and they might be able to get it depending on the leverage of the linebackers if they want to do anything. But we're kind of high-lowing here like a robber. And we've just got 3 birds on a fence here against anything in the middle. There is a weakness here. And obviously we got the pick here. And then we can flip that to the strong side. We can call the same play here. Linebacker shift. And pickety pick. House this thing. House it, baby. House it. Let's go. 2 pick sixes in a day. Let's go. What's up? What is up? I told you with that tippity tap charge. Maybe it's all in my mind. I should just tippity tap the whole time. But let's fracking go. Let's go, boys. So yeah, we bracketed here. We high-low bracket 2-on-1 there. We've got the middle of the field clogged up. We've got a single high here. And it's like, you want to take advantage. Like, no, that's not going to happen. He's trying to throw the back of the end zone. And it's like, nope. We took it. And they're not going to chase us down from behind. And we just charged, and we waited to escape a lineman. Yeah, I know, we should be able to escape a lineman. But as Owens is trying to chase us down, we charge. He gets bumped. And we escape. We explode out. And he's just not going to win that foot race. Now, maybe we're just going to win it because it's run for corner versus a tight end. But I just feel that charge. Like, we're also not, like, fatiguing ourselves too hard, and we're getting the burst out of there. That's when we're activating our burst, right? We're holding it so we're not fatiguing as hard, and we just burst the distance. And we house it. Second one of the day, 1 for each corner. Let's go, cover boy. Let's go. So you can see middle blast too soft. It's the same play right there because I'm missing 2 more plays to fill out that section of the book. We've got backer split 3 weak, just another variation of those plays. 3 buzz, all variations. Middle blast 1. I didn't have it in the previous book. I do have it here. The sky, the strong, the different forms and shells of 3. The little bit of different shells of 2 that we want to play. The 1s. But the 3s, the 1s, the 2s. 2-man, it's not 2-man, it's called cover 5. That's its name. You have 5 men in man coverage. So it's 2 high, 5 men underneath. It gets the name cover 5, but 2-man is what a lot of people call it. But in real life, in real football, like Mike Shanahan and all them, they call it cover 5. We're getting close to an hour and a half. And everything that we're doing here are shells. And you're like, Paul, you haven't talked about Barry, you haven't talked about nickel dime, anything like that. The short answer here is it's all the same. It's just personnel. We're taking a middle linebacker, we're taking outside linebacker here off the field, and we're putting a corner out there. We're taking 2 linebackers off the field and putting 2 corners out there, but the shells are still the same. Right? We're going here, like the bear is the same thing as a 4-3. It's just kind of an under. You've got the strong safety creeped up in the box, like automatically crept up in the box. So the nickel is the same thing. You've got base. You've got 2 hard. You've got 2 soft. You've got cover 1. You've got cover 0. You've got 3 robbers and weaks, and you've got our blitzes and our combos and all that stuff. It's all the same thing. It's just you change the personnel. You just match corners and defensive players, like corners with the wide receivers, right? So let's go to scrimmage, and let's go to home team's 30-yard line or whatever. And let's go nickel. Let's go base. The 2-man, like we know all that. You got to start thinking to yourself, if you call cover 1, 1 dog the dig or whatever, right? Because like the dig route and all that stuff. Are you going to get run support strong side from the strong safety? No. It looks like you're going to get weak side run support from the free safety. So if you got run support from the free safety, then you probably want to have your lineman kick to one side. And usually, okay, this is a good opportunity. Let's go 3 weak here. Let's do like a basic 2x2. And let's do a basic 2x2 strong T toss. and do overlaps. Okay? Let's talk about it because it does need to be talked about at least to an extent. I always want to kick my linebacker to the tight end. Okay? Now, here's another thing. This should be flipped. So, they're in zone, and we have cover 3. Where's our 3? Right here, 3 weak. So, you want to call audible and flip it because you want your corner lined up on the man. So let's again go strong T toss. That's better. Better. Okay, that's the thing. You want the corners to respect the wide receivers. You don't want a safety on him like we had previously. And then I want to kick the linebacker to the tight end. So I've got an overhang. And basically we've got 4 down, 1 high, 5 linemen versus 5 defenders here. This is why often we're going to kick the line the other direction. So we're going to kick the line, kick the linebackers. And eventually you just need to make the tackles, right? So we're just like kind of zeroing out like 1, 2 here. So there's 3 here, there's 4 here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 offensive players, but then we also have the safety in support. They like pull a guy. We're getting free runner across the field here, and we're basically filling this gap, and we want to fill this gap here with a safety and a linebacker, but he's pulling out, so he's going to pick it up. So, but then we also have our other safety filling in the gaps, and we're just trying our best to contain runs. So it's the same ideas. You just have to coordinate your secondary with the front. And so let's do this again, but not flipped. And like this. And talk about what I don't like and why. Why I want to flip the player. I want to call man coverage plays. Like even when we get the 2 or 3 yard run stop, I don't like this. It's 0 basically over here. It's not a 0 man, but it's just 1-on-1, 1-on-1. Whatever the route combination is, there is no... You're not +1 against the receivers. You want to be +1 in the box, and you want to be +1 versus the receivers. Whereas here, you got 1 receiver, 2 receivers. You don't count the guy in the backfield. You got 2 by 2. 2 and 2. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 2 threats. So we're +2 and we're 0. Right? We're even. Like 2 to 2, we're 0. We're +2. No, we want double +1s. Okay? So we're like, flip the play, kick to the linebacker, pinch. And that's the true answer is I love to pinch and nickel and really mug those A gaps. You get a little triangle here, you get these gaps, and you let the edge flow from your faster guys, your safeties, your linebacker to flow over the top. I love to pinch the line whenever we're in nickel and dime situations, mug the A gaps, mug the B gaps, right? It's A on each side, these mug the A's, mug the B's, kick linebackers over so you've got this help. And then what are we? We're 2 by 2. 1, 2 receivers. We've got a triangle of 3 defenders. We're +1 on this side. We've got 2 receivers here, and we've got 1, 2, 3. So we're +1. And in the box, center right here, we're basically this triangle 3. So we've got 1, 2, 3. If he blocks down with the center, blocks down here, blocks down here, blocks here, pulls a guard, well, we're still +1 over here, like on the weak side gap, and we're able to flow, right? Strong side run. Again, we've got the triangle here. We've got all this gapped up, and we're just leveraged here. We're leveraged here outside, and the linebacker can flow. So we're both +1 in the pass game. We're +1 in the run game. We're mugging the A gaps. We're mugging the B gaps. If the quarterback wants to scramble, like, we got to do what we can. Like, you can't defend everything. But does it make sense? You've got to have a plan for your plays. You can't just, oh, this looks good. I don't know, let's try this. Spinning, that's a good trick, right? You don't want that. You don't want to be Star Wars. You want to be Anakin Skywalker, right? You want to make sure you know what you got. And the same thing here with 3 Robber. And I don't think I really messed with this defense nearly as much as I did the 4-3. And the fact that I only have 3 layers of plays is kind of weird. But 3 weak, 3 strong makes sense to me. 3 Robber, weak, and strong makes sense to me. Cover 1, flipping each side makes sense to me. The weak fire zone blitz, especially we talked about here, weak fire zone blitz is having Andre Carter with coverage. Do you remember that part of the video? You remember earlier, my only viewer that's here, Andre Carter has coverage of 67 versus everyone else. So weak fire zone blitz, let's kick the line to the right. Okay. Let's call a 50Z stops. Let's do that. Let's do that. And he catches it, and whatever, we don't care. We don't care. We drive Cadillacs in our dreams, right? Basically, yep. He's our coverage guy. 67 in coverage. And we fire zone blitzed. But also, the thing is, do they know that he's going to drop off? No, because you can even use him if you want to. Like, you want to pass rush? You're pass rushing off the edge, right? You're causing problems. You got your little nose action. You got your little blitz off the other side. Especially in real life, humans want to roll out with McNabb or whatever. You know how often a human roll out right into the blitz is just so nasty for them. And then if they roll out this side, and especially if you're using Carter instead of the nose tackle, you've got the middle kind of covered. Like, okay, he can just escape out this way. That's true. But so many human natural reactions when you play online was like drop back and then run, drop back and then run. Let's kick it, let's kick it. And let's try to spin to the right. Like that. Love it. Now he catches it. But if we're just talking about containing the quarterback, yeah, because you want to spin away from where you're blitzing. Right? You're blitzing that way. You want to spin back this way. And it's just like you're clogging it if McNabb wants to scramble. You got blitzes coming. You got this going on. And, yeah, that's the other thing is if they're going to come out like this, you kind of want to flip it. If you know your opponent is like that, maybe you swap the defensive ends, but no, it doesn't swap it because it's substitution packages, isn't it? Yeah. Base. Maybe we do this. Maybe we go to game plan, we go to substitutions. We go to the nickel. And we go Carter with I don't care. Is there a way to reset? No, there's not a way to reset. Nickel. Trigger is like that by package, by formation. Back button is literally backing out. Okay. So Engelberger is there. So Whitting is here. We're going to say Carter. We're going to say Whitting. If we adjust to the side, we could have Young with Brown just for the moment. Cooper with Young. And then Brown with Cooper. That could be some serious business. We flip the play like that. We call 50s stops. We kick there, and then we kick like that. And it's the same weakness. We still get killed the same way. I was just thinking here, like, maybe we've got an answer. We're just basically putting 2 defenders in that same spot. So all that work that I did really just wasn't worth it. Right? And he still has, like, some space. So in the end, you try things. I don't like it. Didn't work the way we wanted to. Probably going to S-can this from my playbook. Yeah, don't like it. I was just trying to see something that would draw Carter into coverage because he has a coverage rating. Rather than just rush the passer. He's got like 90-something pass rushing. Why would I ask my 90-something pass rusher, right, 92 pass rusher to turn into a 67 coverage man? Right? Like, why would I do that? Honestly. Man, I hope this was helpful. I hope this was interesting as we're getting close to an hour and 45 minutes. You've got your coverage shells, you got your inside leverage, you got your outside leverage, you got your fronts, you got your sliding the defensive line, sliding the linebackers. You've got to be able to respect the running game. You've got to know the leverages. I think that's good. I think that's really good because it's the same situation for dime, right? Base, it's just all the coverages are the same. I'm not saying have all of these plays like cover 12 and all that. I still got to edit them, but I primarily come out in my 4-3 defense, and in nickel, I just really like to man 2. I really just like man 2, inside leverage, pinch kick to the side, blitz it up. Almost got the tip there. Right, I just like to pass rush right up the middle, mug the A-gaps, kick the linebacker. You know. And sometimes he swats it, sometimes they make the play, sometimes they don't, right? And just say, hey, you made the play with your great quarterback and your great wide receivers, right? It's a place to call it quits. Thank you for watching. Thank you for making this far. I made this to be helpful, so I hope it was.